Hi there. First of all, if you are here and you are watching this, I want to congratulate you because you have taken the first step to getting unstuck and taking charge of your well-being. Because one of the things I want you to tell yourself every day is I have the power to advocate for my own well-being. Last year, in 2020, I found myself in a situation where I had no idea where to go, and I was very stuck, and I had received, within 6 months, I had a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, and rheumatoid arthritis. And this came after a few years of chronic pain and chronic fatigue that I just thought was normal. I just thought that's what life was like when you were turning 50. I now know that's not true. And what I want to do now is I want to share with you the knowledge I have gained after hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars of my own investment in what it is that's making me unwell and how can I make myself well. So, what happened to me when I was experiencing that depression was I knew I needed to get out of it somehow. I didn't know who to ask. I didn't want to ask any of my friends or family. I felt like we were in the middle of a global pandemic. Everybody's got their own shit to worry about. Why would they want to help me? And that's where I was at. So what I did first is I got a therapist. And I know that talk therapy doesn't always work for everyone, but what my therapist has done for me is over the course of the last year, once a week, I get to have somebody that I can talk through what's working and what's not working. She's also a really good barometer for whether I'm crazy or stupid or brilliant, because as they say from Spinal Tap, it's a fine line between brilliant and stupid. And one of my other mottos I have is write it down now, it can be stupid later. Because if you have an idea, you just want to get it down on paper so that you can refer to it later. So once I got a therapist, the next thing I did is I realized you can learn a lot of things on the internet, as you know, but part of the importance of looking for things on the internet is knowing how to discern the value of the information you're getting. So I was searching for alternative remedies for depression because what had happened was my primary care physician, when she learned that I had fibromyalgia and depression, she automatically wanted to put me on some pharma medication that was suitable for both. It was terrible. I had an awful experience. I had cold sweats and shaking, and I really just felt like I was dying. And she treated me as if mental health was not something worth considering as a serious condition. And it took me a while. It took my partner telling me, you need a new doctor because she is not taking care of you. She doesn't have your best interests at heart. So I looked for alternative remedies for depression, and sure enough, acupuncture was one of the things I found. And I've been going to an acupuncturist for many years. I had stopped during COVID because I didn't want to go out into face-to-face interactions at the time. But when I realized that acupuncture could be helpful for depression, I booked an appointment with my favorite doctor. And what acupuncture did for me is it totally reset the downward spiral. And that was the key to getting past that first step and into a state of mind where I could actually start thinking about what are the real issues in my life that are contributing to my unwellness. So the other thing that I did, because when I did my doctoral degree, my primary research methodology was ethnography, and in particular, critical autoethnography. And if you're not an academic, and that sounds like a $3 word, basically it's using myself as the object of inquiry and analyzing what are the systems and structures and beliefs that have led to me being in this position. How are they limiting me in being who I am in the best self that I can be? So I started journaling on a regular basis. And then the next thing that I did is I found a naturopath, since I was very unhappy with my primary care physician. And I needed someone who could give me a really holistic approach to how to be well. I found a naturopath. Luckily, she was right in the same office as my acupuncture at the time. And with my naturopath, I worked with her on a 6-week food elimination protocol. And at first I was a little scared that I was going to have to give up bread and wine and cheese and pizza and all the things that I love. But I decided it's only for 6 weeks. I can do it for 6 weeks. And I also paid her a lot of money because, as you probably have already figured out, most health insurance does not cover naturopathic medicine. That's the other big, if you haven't figured it out yet, our healthcare system is not a healthcare system. It is a disease treatment system. So I took it upon myself to create a whole new system of healthcare for myself. It's not that new. People have known about the things I've done for a long time, but I gathered together the pieces that I needed, which is why I'm sharing it with you. So I committed to 6 weeks, and the thing that made it really easy not to cheat on that 6 weeks is I was paying money for her to guide me through this. If I'm paying her money to guide me through this and I cheat, then I'm cheating myself out of the money I paid. So I got through the 6-week food elimination protocol, and the thing that I noticed, even though I was hoping and maybe half expecting for some sort of miraculous recovery from all of my various ailments, there was no miracle, but I felt like I had more life force. I know it sounds like a really vague term, but it's somewhere between energy and stamina. So after that 6 weeks, I felt a lot better equipped to take charge of my life and start making decisions that were in my best interest. So after that, I knew that I wanted to get back into meditation, and I started to get back into meditation. And I've tried several different kinds of meditation throughout my life, and I've always sort of felt like, I know it's good for me, I know I feel good afterwards, and yet it still feels like work. So I tried a few. I tried one that a friend recommended to me. There's a great book out there called You Are Not Your Pain, which folks in the book are talking about how it has had miraculous effects on their physical conditions, for physical pain, that the meditations they use. For me, they were somewhat helpful, and it still felt like work. So I started looking for other meditations over the course of about 6 months, and what I've come to realize is there's different meditations for every type of person out there. So if you have tried meditation and it didn't really work for you, maybe try a different kind of meditation. There's also an app, Calm, I think calm.com or something like that. There are so many different kinds of meditations. Even LeBron James is doing meditations. For some reason, I didn't quite jive with any of the particular meditations on that one. And then I found one, a woman named Chloe Cousins in the UK, and I knew instantly when I heard her voice that it was tapping into something that felt really, really true to me. And here's the other thing. The funny way I found her, I swore I would never do it, a Facebook ad. And I thought, how could anything good ever come from a Facebook ad? And it was one of those silly, dumb little quizzes, right? It was like, what kind of goddess are you? And I was like, I want to know what kind of goddess I am. So I took the quiz, and it's like, you're a warrior goddess. And I said, of course I'm a warrior goddess. I know that, right? And then I, was introduced to her website, and I found out she's got this membership where you have access to all sorts of meditations for all sorts of purposes, emotional, spiritual, physical. It's a really great resource. So I found that. The other thing I did is at the end of 2020, I knew that I needed to kind of get my brain organized and also get some better focus for myself. So I bought myself a couple of journals. One is just, kind of a goal-setting, self-organization journal. And the other one was a tarot reading journal, because I've done tarot for myself and for friends for, probably 20 years or so. And I had never made it a regular practice. So what I did January 1st is I started meditating every day, and I started doing tarot readings for myself every day. And I'm lying. I have to back up. I didn't start meditating every day. I started doing tarot readings every day. And then in March, I realized, after 2.5 months of doing tarot readings, I noticed at least once a week the tarot was telling me that I needed to meditate. And that's when I found Chloe Cousins. Sorry, I didn't mean to get the order wrong there. So Once I started meditating on a regular basis, on a daily basis, everything started shifting for me really dramatically and very quickly. And so for the rest of the course, I'm going to tell you a bit about all of the different modalities that I have tried or that I have experienced. We're going to have some interviews with practitioners who do these alternative modalities. And then you will have access to all this information that will help you decide what is going to work best for you. So welcome to the portal. The door is open. Come on in. The water's fine.